All right, hello and welcome to a interesting version of wheel tapping. I'm going to be unboxing this bad boy. So this showed up the other day and I have to say I'm pretty excited because one of my favorite games ever got a reprint. Everything is poised to make it look like it's an amazing edition, and I just can't wait to see what's inside. On the plus side, I also happen to be so excited for it that I ordered a second copy. Yeah, that happened. So my inability to keep track of what excites me is going to be your gain. So what I'm going to do is I'll announce later on how you can enter to win one of these. I will tell you that patrons of the show are automatically entered to win this, and then we will do that. I will cover shipping in the US. Sorry. If you win it and you're outside the US, we can talk. I'm willing to pay whatever it would cost for the US shipping, and maybe you pick up the difference. We'll see. So the game's so nice, I bought it twice. Yeah, unintentional. Surprising how many times that happens. So this is going to be the beauty we're going to get done. I'm definitely really excited for this. I got to preview this a lot. I got to see a lot of the art as it was kind of getting made, and it really influenced what I did when I went to work on India, in that, you know, one of my tenets was to do something different, not just the same stuff we're all used to from playing these games, but to actually make it, you know, something that's visually enjoyable, not just utilitarian. And to me, that's this game to a T, and it's absolutely gorgeous. The artist, Sophia Zhang, I got to meet her at Trax last year. Very lovely. Doesn't know much about 18XX. And it's very interesting when you have somebody who's coming at this from a standpoint of, you know, not seeing the systems and just treating it as an art project. What started out as just doing bits and pieces of the project, you know, ended up doing the whole thing. And I couldn't be more ecstatic than to see what this actually looks like. So much so that we are here on this nice Black Friday, Saturday weekend, and yeah, we're gonna sit down and enjoy this. I do have chat on, so if you are out there and you hop in late, whatever, you know, feel free to drop a note in the chat, say hi. I'm happy to see you. Thank you, Crewmeister, for being here. So without further ado, you can sit here and watch me and try to open it this way, but I kind of have a nice setup so we can actually go through this together, right? Oh, I'm just a wee bit excited. Look at this cover. Let's start there and get it out of the glare. So I love the watercolor texture here. This just, you know, just that ink and brush work that's just done on the cover. This kind of blew my mind when I first saw it, and I'm like, thank you for, you know, not just throwing a train on the cover and calling it a day, but actually putting some thought into it. And I'm super excited for that. I even love the fact that Lookout, while I don't think you need your logo on box fronts, I tried to fight against that. But I get why companies do it, so there we are. But they even put their logo in black and white, which I think is kind of cool, because they're kind of showing that they value the artist input, I feel. So let's see. The back is just kind of your basic components shot. Pretty standard stuff there. Let me tell you how annoying being an artist having to put this kind of thing together, because it's not easy to make natural looking card lays be out here. I think it's pretty funny. Pretty funny. Hi, Ryan. So yeah, let's kind of crack this open and see what we can see. As you can see, I have not I have not literally opened any of this whatsoever, so this is going to be my first time seeing all the components. All right. We're off to a great start. All right, so let's put this up here because we love that cover so much. All right, so apparently people still use money in these games. Who'd have thought, right? But you know, let's see what we got here because I'm curious. It's right on top, so we're gonna walk through, and I'm literally gonna open each thing up, and we'll kind of go from there. So these are the cards. You know, pretty basic. Kind of using a token system, I think, to denote the cards. But I like the fact that the money's not huge. You know, we kind of have this thing where money should be the same size as people money. No, it shouldn't. If you get stuck having to use paper money in a game, smaller is better. I'm even a fan of using Euro-sized cards for money if you absolutely have to. And you know what? As someone who has drugged my entire chip collection across the state and more, you know, there are times when I could make this argument. But I will probably always take my chips on the journey. Yeah, it's funny, right? Like everybody, I think all of the games that are going to be published by an actual like publisher of board games, they're going to include money. You're just like not going to get around it. You always have to do it. And it's funny. I went to Tony's not that long ago, and you know, we needed some money that I could look at so I could make the money for 18 India. And as I was looking through, he had a legit basket that was half full of just all the slugs of money that he's accumulated over time. And we just kind of plucked through it and kind of picked some stuff. And I just thought it was hysterical. All right, so let's see. Next up, we got some 4x6 bags, it looks like. You know, and a good amount of them. My goodness. I will be using these for other games. I tend to like, you know, the smaller jewelry size bags for my certs and shares. So most of these will get cycled into a different game, but that's completely fine. You never have enough of these bags, right? Still remember when Capstone did printing of one of their games, and instead of 4x6 bags, I think they specified 6x4, so they opened on the long edge. It was very awkward to use a bag that opens that way. All right, let's see. So we got some wooden bits here. We have the first player marker, and then we also have, this is the round marker that will be going down the side to kind of know when we need a stock round or not. Dig it. Basic trains, nothing special. You're not going to get a blue crab out of Lookout, I think, but that's fine. Yeah, the Iron Rails card money. Yeah, that's definitely of the paper money option. That was literally exactly what I was referring to, crew. Where is my phone? There you are. Yeah, it was really good. It was really well done, and I certainly appreciated it. Let me there, so everybody knows what you're talking about. Yeah, it's pretty decent. And let me tell you though, coming up with the denominations for that money is a whole nother story. That's just a whole nother ball of wax. So let's see, we have our cards. Let's trip through those. I kind of feel like I can't. All right, that would drive me nuts if that was sitting like that. So let's go through here. So we have our train cards. If this is typical Lookout, these are not going to be grouped, and you are going to have to sort your shares and your money and everything. It's the nature of the printing process. Believe me, I know, because we kind of have our turn order marker numbers. By the way, one of the best ways you can play this game, the higher number player counts. Absolutely. So if you've played the original, and I hope you have, we have phase cards. Now in the original version, which maybe I'll break out at the end and we can kind of compare and contrast Lonnie's production. But we have phase cards, and the phase cards denote when you can build in this game, which is pretty cool. But instead of half-size Euro cards, we actually have full-size Euro cards. But I do like that the the percentage is written right on the bottom. These are nice little artworks. Each one is kind of different. You have engineers. Well, they're not different. The art's actually the same. I lied. These are all of our building permits. This is one of the things, you're probably going to hear this a few times during this video, but this is definitely one of the things I love about this game is the building permits. I think it really causes you to have a choice. And the fact that they put the amount you can build ties directly to your presidency and the advantage you're going to gain from that. I just think is one of the best, absolute best things about this game. Absolutely love it. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, crew. I absolutely love, I love this at any player count. But when you get those extra people, it is knife fight in a phone booth, and it can be a lot of fun. It's definitely pretty cool. Actually, these cards are much better sorted than I anticipated. I did look out a wrong here, and so far so good. So these are all of our privates that we have. So we have the Wusong, the P1, the Yanda Ferry, the Taiwan Line. These are nice privates. I like the looks of them. Again, compared to what we're used to in these games, I'm happy to see, a slightly different approach. They don't look like they're just an afterthought, right? I think that's tough. And I think that they did a great job with that. Very happy. Good job. All right, and then we have our train cards. So the train cards, so some of the earliest art I got to see that was getting done by this artist. I'm going to have to keep looking for Sophia, because I don't want to get it wrong, name. The first pieces of art I saw were the trains, and I just loved them. They're very kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but if you've ever seen kind of the Chinese like prints or the wall hangings or things like that are kind of, it's more of a printer style that's done on that, or an ink transfer method. That's really the vibe that she kind of went for with these, and I think that she did a great job. So this is the 2 train. I think looks great. Just nice job. We're so used to seeing all of the American trains and the British trains. Kind of seeing some different stuff is pretty cool. And then we got this is the 3+3 here. Pretty sweet. Let's see, Merc. So asking if this is a good game to make an entry in. Myself and Tony are fond of saying every 18xx game is an entry game. But that being said, 1880 has a lot of pieces that feel a lot like a board game in how they interact with each other. In some ways it feels like a more complicated Euro, and it's not as systematic, I guess is the best way to kind of put it, as like your 1830s based games or things like that. So I really tend to find that China is, and it's what draws me to it. It's one of those games that's, you play it once and you get it. And there, like I said, there's some things that really throw a regular 18xx player off, because timing is completely different in this game. And I love that. I think it's great. It's not one of the hardest to pick up and learn. Also, I would say that the fact that Lookout is doing this game means that there's probably going to be a lot of support for it, how to play videos and things like that. I've done some how to play stuff in the past, and I'm seriously considering doing one on 1880 because I think it's a great one, and it's my favorite one. I've played over 100 now, and nothing's come close to where this lives in my heart. I absolutely love this game. So there you go. Enough said. But yes, I think it would be a great first game. So let's see. We have the 4 train. Pretty cool. I kind of dig that the trains fill in the box, right? And it's not so precious as to be exactly in scale. I think that that's important. It's kind of, you know, she took some artistic liberties to give us something that's really fun. And it's not, you know, the steam chamber on the 442 was much longer. We're not playing that game here today. This is, you know, this is pretty cool. And I love that the artwork is just really well done. So you can kind of see she's like busting the frame out a little bit. The train looks big in that picture, as they should, as they should. As somebody who just drew all the trains for India, believe me, I appreciate the work that goes into doing these little individual illustrations. I really like this guy. I think the 4+4 is, right now, it's probably my favorite. That's just a really cool one. Yeah. Nice. Double-sided as well. Let's see, the 6. So we're getting into some of the more current stuff, like 1978. So these are going to be some of these electric-powered trains, things like that. Very popular, especially in rural China. Or urban China, I should say. The 6, that's pretty cool. Like it, right? Just, you know, playing with the colors, having some fun. The E train. Love it. Wow, I forget how many trains there are in this game, let me tell you. The 8. So this is kind of that, you know, that Conrail Santa Fe line diesel. Like that was like some of the first trains I ever saw. So I definitely appreciate it. 8E. Yes, I am going through all these. And then we got the 10. And I like the little background too, right? Like it's not just a train on a piece of cardboard. You know, it's actually got some. There's some things that are making you know what it is and where it's running. Yeah, it's the year definitely helps. Like you know, there's a lot of history in the train. So when you start out a game, you know, normally the year of the game is roughly when it's set around. So seeing the train roster represent that it's important. All right. So then we're on to shares. So shares are pretty cool. Again, something a little different. It's going to take a little getting used to because, you know, we train gamers don't like change. So these are going to be a little harder to display, I think, but I think one play you're going to be used to it because there's the 10% share. Dig the background, like the number, pretty bright, obvious, exactly what you got there. And then because you have the builder's permits, you also get the different director certificates. And with the different director certificates, you get the different the levels of the phase cards. So that's why the 20% has 3 engineers listed, the 30% has 2, and then the 40% has 1, because the higher percentage, the less you can build. It's kind of the trade-off in the game. So this is kind of reminding you a little bit of what's going on there. The director shares have a split on them, and the number's right there at the end. So if you're splaying these, I don't see a problem with that whatsoever. I wasn't going to put the 2 symbols on the shares for India, but I kind of had a little, you know, the team did not like that idea, even though my design brain did. It's just, you know, it's it's a difference in what you're willing to do, and I like the choice that they made. I think it's pretty good, because I think when you splay them out, you get a really nice kind of, you get to know what's going on there. So very nice. The president's shares do something cool, which I borrowed the idea that the president's shares had something different. If I stole anything, this was it. But what they did is she actually put an individual person on the end of the shares. Now, I didn't put a person, I just did a graphic. But it's pretty cool that it kind of differentiates the share and kind of lets you know, hey, there's something a little different here. This isn't just your normal share, which I dig. I think that that's a nice touch. So the other nice thing is these company icons look pretty amazing. I will tell you, when I went to do the work for GMT on India, having 19 companies to do icons for is kind of daunting. So I get that it's a lot of work, and she went above and beyond here, because these are really, really well done, and I'm impressed. I'll be curious to see when we get into the tokens and things how they look, and how they translate to smaller sizes. That's kind of where I was limited when it came to India, was that, we were using the small 1822 drums, so you kind of get limited with what graphic leeway you have and resolution at that size. So that really played into it a lot. So I appreciate that she had some room to play. All right. Yeah, so let's see. Ryan, BGG had it best at 4. I'm happy to play this at 4. I've played it at 3. It's a long game at 3. But to be honest with you, it's, you play with what you can, right? I wouldn't let my player count stop me from playing this, but I will tell you, this doesn't usually always work out this way in our games, right? Like when you add people to the player count, it tends to just get muddy and worse and horrible. But there's so many companies in this game, and there's so many different tracks that you can take. We've even played this with 7. We've used every single foreign investor, and it's insane, because it gets mean, it gets nasty, and you have to be ready to get cut off, because you're going to get cut off. I literally got hemmed into Beijing and couldn't even get out. It was pretty bad, with the JHU, I believe, actually. But it's a lot of fun at 6, and I can't always say that I want to play a game with the max player count, but this is one that, if you have the chance when you go to a convention or you do something like that, absolutely do it. Pretty cool. All right, so we got the JHU. We have a lot of colorful names for this, like the JLR's the jailer, the nicknames. You have to edit a lot of them for broadcast television. Let's see, NJR. Like I said, there are a lot of companies in this one. You think this is bad? Wait till we open up the 18 India game, because I'm most certainly going to do a unboxing of that. It's a lot. It's going to be a lot of cards, people. Just going to tell you. All right. So we have the wieners. So what do we have there? We have 14 companies. And then these are one of the cool features of 1880 is that when you start off your company, you have to set up these decks, because maybe you start with a 20% director share, which means you have to have 80%. You have to have 80% plus the 20. So you have to set your deck up each time you start a company, and you declare what presidency share you're going to start with. But what you do is you take the first 50%, and then you put this in there. And what that's going to do is when you actually sell your 5th share, you get 100% of your money. So at the beginning, you get half, and then you unlock your second half when somebody has actually taken the rest of your shares. So that's what these tokens are for. It's definitely, again, it's something cool. It just doesn't mean like everybody gets all this cash, crazy cash up front. You have to do a little work to get it, and you have to get there. But it's definitely pretty cool. You get 50% when you hit the 3 shares, which is what you need to float. So it's almost like you have majors and minors in a way, and your company grows up. But you may not be the one who determines when that 6th share gets purchased. You can only do it during a certain amount of time, but it's definitely one of the cool features of the game. Again, I'm going to say that a lot. Not going to lie. Not going to lie. Yeah, so the color palette, well, let's see. Let's take some of the hardest ones here. Let's take the yellow, the orange, the red. I think they're pretty good. I don't think you're going to have to worry too much about them. Obviously, let's see. Let me put your comment up because I think that's a good one to send. Crew. The letters are right there in the top corner, and you get half the symbol, and the colors are pretty good. So I'm not overly concerned about that. Yes, I have, balanced lighting and everything in here, but I don't think it's too bad. Let's check the browns. The browns and the yellow. Yeah, again, this is the problem we face, right? When you get any large amount of companies and you have to use all these colors. I'm going to be curious to see when we get in the actual dirt here what our tokens look like and everything else. So, but good job. No, I totally agree. All right, so we have our rule book. Oh yeah, definitely need the phase chart. The phase chart in 1880 is key because it is not a standard, oh, greens come out on the 3 and then the yellow, goes away and then the browns come out on the 4. It does not work normally, and the different timing of the different events depend a lot on the train. So when communism starts, which is a very big deal in this game, and I'm going to say it again, it's one of the things I love, because it freezes the stock market. So then everybody starts hoarding because there's no penalty, because you don't go forward if you pay out and you don't go backwards if you don't. Sometimes people rush the trains through communism to get on the other side as fast as possible, to kind of help not let that happen. So it's very cool. And I definitely think it's something very necessary to have this quickly and accessible. I kind of hope to see a player aid in here that also does that as well. We have our tile upgrades, chart, good examples in here. All right. Hey, it's not like double column. It's nice big space printed. So we will see. General information. So they have good company information in here, what the investors are. It looks like what all the markers look like. So it looks like the company logos are not going to be on our tokens. So we will check that out. And then the colors for what they are. That's always a struggle to know what color goes with what, right? Breakdown of the privates, how they work, and then your list of components. So, all right. Pretty good, pretty good. Now, I'm just going to slide that under the box. All right. Yeah, the light blue, the blue and the I think the light blue is probably the biggest one that I'd be worried about if I'm being honest, crew. This is definitely not the game you play in low light though, right? You don't do that with any 18xx game. The older I get, the more I need it. All right, so we have our stock chart. Good card stock. Nice deal there. Pretty basic. Again, I like that it's got some texture in it. So this is going to be your phase chart, your train chart, I'll be curious to see if that's actually, if that's a printing error or if it's meant to be that way. I think it's meant to be that way. And then we have the ABCs over here. Our phase, like what's coming out, what trains will be available when. That's handy information. Like the dragon. That's like the one holdout from the original, right? Like I love the year of the dragon. And our stock chart. Well, this is a revenue tracker. Cool, and it actually has some revenue tracks on the side here for, it looks like 1 through 6. It goes up to 70. Hopefully, if you're paying out more than that, you'll need a calculator. So, or add 2 together, right? All right, foreign investors. These are almost like super privates in a way. These are pretty just standard. Looks like we just have the map on them. Let's see. Yeah, the Russian, the Belgian. Yeah, so they pretty much just changed the flag. No, nothing crazy here. The kind of 50-50 on the back being, so it looks like German's on the back, English is on the front. 50-50 on that because I usually like to shuffle these up and hand them out. Sometimes you do a draft, sometimes we don't. Depends what kind of day we're playing. But other than that, basic, good, get the job done. Yeah. All right, President's Certificate, or certificates, the dinner mats, as it were. Yeah, so same thing, but I love this nice big piece of the artwork up here in the corner with the company logos. Really love it. Oh, I love yeah, these are good. Nice. I like that it's a full print too. Like you don't see any white on the card. And again, it's German on the one side, English on the other. You know, they didn't have to do that. They could have either put both languages on one side or just trusted icons. But they decided to print both sides, so I appreciate that. You know, you don't have to worry about right side up or down. Dig them. They're nice. They're nice. Yeah, the revenue trackers, if you don't make your own Rails on Board, definitely the place to go for them. Their revenue tracker is really solid. I've made my own many times now, but in the end, theirs is just the best. I haven't ordered one yet. I'm kind of a little on the cheap side. Also, the other thing from Rails on Board, I'll point out, you can get a token kit, and then you're able to token and sticker physical tokens as opposed to the cardboard tokens you're getting in this version. So there is that, and I definitely recommend that. I think I literally used to have my old I bought a set of 1880 tokens from them, and then I think I promptly put them in a drawer, not realizing that I already had them in my game. So maybe I'll be breaking them out, or at least ordering the proper set so that the color match is good, because it looks like they did slightly different color, because the HKR in the original printing is very lime green, and then this is definitely more of a hunter. Tiles, nothing too crazy. They are double printed. Good job. Not everybody does that. I didn't do it. It's a lot of work. So nice. I appreciate that. Sometimes what I appreciate, and I think that more people should do this, is when you have like a number 9 on the front, I think it's a really good idea to make your back a number 8. That way, if you're playing a game that's just a lot of longs and straights and you have unlimited tiles, flip and match, right? Do as I say, not as I do, though, in that regard. Yeah, they have trays. I haven't done their trays. I just don't, but I've definitely run across them and used them in different games, and I use the jewelry tray method, and I just pass that around. Yep, so it looks like we just have our little tokens. Kind of a shame, because these tokens are pretty large. These are probably, what are these? 10. These are 15 mil tokens. 15 to 16. They certainly could have put her pretty logos on them rather than just letters, but they also look a little large. Let's see if we find any smaller ones as we get in here. Looks like we do not. So yeah, Beijing's going to be a little tough when you get 6 people in there. Let's be honest. That's interesting. So they have a little first player marker here. That's a build your own. There you go. Interesting. Cute little guy. You know, put you over there. Yeah, Beijing with the 6 holes they will all be used. There is no doubt. Foreign investor tokens. These are great. You know, foreign investors don't need physical wood tokens, in my opinion. I would happily just use these. They're a little bigger. They're a little more obvious. They will live on a board in a spot until they're gobbled up. So it is important that they have tokens. But, you know, I don't think you need them forever. A little off on this guy here. My tokens are far from center, but. All right, so that's our track tiles. Pretty decent. I mean, they're track tiles. They're, thickness. Yeah, you probably want to know about that. So these are 2 mil. So 2 mil tiles, pretty decent, right? Like they got some heft to them, but they're not like chonky, thick tiles that we've all played with. And I'm not a fan as much of the laminated paper. I like a little tile, but I don't need something super thick. And these kind of are in that happy spot. I think 3's way too thick, but 2's like the nice happy spot where you get good clean cuts. There's enough rise that you can actually manipulate them on the board. So appreciate that. All right, and then last but not least, we have the map. It's printed on both sides, so let's see. So it looks like we have a German and an English, because this is German on this side, which they put on the back. So, you know, there's that. You know, we get the front, as it were, as English speakers. Not that most Germans aren't. Let's be fair. And then we have our map itself. And again, I really dig it. I think it's really nicely done. I love the little ink drawings around the side. The ship's awesome. Great job there. I think it's really good, really clear. You know exactly what's what. We're not reinventing the wheel here, right? Like they didn't say, hey, we're going to use blue for the offboard colors. Like we still kept standard. Oh, I love this. The actual starting homes for the companies actually have their logos on them. And then the foreign investors have their number and their flag. But I love that she put the little logos and the letters on there because, you know, they have a mix. So they kind of have to address that somehow. So I think this is pretty awesome. So if you've never played before, what you're looking at here is there will be a train here, and then this is going to determine when you enter stock grounds, and it moves when somebody buys a train. And then this just shifts down these boxes. And then these will be the actual company tokens that we will move left and right. So that way you can see, you know, okay, Jailer's Run. One of the cool decisions in this game is also these brackets of par. So only 5 companies can par at $100. So if these are all gobbled up early in the game, you know, and usually the hundreds and the 90s can really happen, especially in a bigger game, then you're just out of luck. You're going to have to underfund your companies and probably force buy trains pretty early. So pretty cool, pretty cool. All right. Our AEG2 what? All right. So what I want to do is I'm going to reach over here and I'm going to grab my copy of 1880. And let's just kind of like look and compare some of the stuff real quick as we wrap this up. And then I'll tell y'all how to enter to win my extra copy, because I'm an idiot in order to. All right. The only thing I can't put my hand on right this second is my map for 1880. I've actually done a neoprene mat. I kind of took the main map and I added some stuff to it and kind of updated it and added like all of the these guys on there. So it's a little different, but I think I still have the core map in here. All right. So a couple things that I would like is that wasn't in here. We didn't get the player guide that had you know, all the phase changes and stuff for all the players. So you know, if you haven't played this yet and you're playing it for the first time, print that off for your people. You will want that. So this is also why I don't use 1880 trays or I don't do trays from All Aboard, is I kind of 3D print my own. So here are the company charters. I mean, what, pretty basic. Wonder if they changed any of the colors. Oh yeah, they did, big time. So there you go. So QSR used to be that bright blue, now it's yellow. But to give you apples to apples, you know, the construction permit slot's a little bigger. It's going to be because the cards are bigger. That's the way it is. Treasury, all right. Train in the middle. I mean, this kind of feels a little clip arty. You know, use a sketch filter on it and be done with it. But all right, it's pretty cool. Appreciate that. So let's continue on with the QSR. So let's see, these guys, All Aboard games, I think they're 1.5 millimeter tiles. I can grab one in a minute, but they're slightly thinner, not by much, just a little bit. So this was the standard upgraded pack back in the day, so it came with the drums. And the drums are, let's be honest, they're roughly the same size as the tokens, which makes sense. That's probably what they used as a gauge. I know when I was building India, I had a copy of 22 and a copy of 46 by my side the whole time, so I could measure things. Yeah, these are 16 mil drums, so they're the same size as the other tokens. So maybe I'm talking out my butt. Maybe they will work just fine. They are chonky discs, though, that I will say. All right, let's look at our... So this is where, you know, the rubber kind of meets the road, right? This is a 30% share, and that's a 30% share. Little different, right? Like you have these little construction symbols right here on the ends. They kind of butt up there a little bit together. But this is, I think, much more obvious that it's a 30% share over the old version. By the way, I also corner clip this entire game. So if you're wondering why you have straight edges and I don't, there you go. All right, so shares are pretty good. Let's check out the foreign investors. I mean, again, right? Like the foreign investors on this one, blank on one side, dual language on this side, as opposed to the Lookout version. I mean, makes sense. They're a German-based game company, so it makes sense that they, you know, prioritize their home language. But, you know, nothing too fancy here. You know, they look a little more obvious that a share goes there. But other than that, you know, they both get the job done. These have pretty borders on them that match the colors of the flags inside. So I think that's a nice little detail. All right. Oh, yeah. I will tell you that, Crod, that I no longer print trays because I think this game broke me. Think about how many different, I'll just show you all. Think of how many different filaments I had to buy for that. So it's kind of insane. These are the building permits. I mean, I designed these trays and they're great and all, but and now I have all this stuff. I really should do something with it. Oh yeah, I guess as long as I have these out. So these are our phase permits. So we had that half-size Euro card that we used before, and then we have the full-size Euro card here. You know, Hobbit-size cards, as my friend likes to say. But they work. I think they work great. You know, there's a good home for them on the pad, so I think they'll work out nicely. The trains were the same thing. And the twos, how we knew what phase it was the little light on the trains themselves. But that was it. That was your whole train. So we get a much chunkier art version here, which I'm happy about. I don't mind the little vertical trains and all, but you know, again, somebody made a pretty version of my favorite game. I'm more than happy, right? I'm a little boy in a toy shop right now. Is it perfect? I think you've seen, I've said, I don't think so, but it's great, right? These are the foreign investor tokens. So they just use numbers in this game. They don't have like the pretty flags. That's why I said, you know, probably like the flags. They're just fine. So yeah, that's kind of the, that's why I don't 3D print anymore. It's a lot of work. All right, so let's see, just our stock chart. I mean, pretty basic. Now, yep, all right, so there we go. So this is the original one. Like I said, I also corner clipped them. So if you've never played 80, one of the, how many times am I going to say this? Every time I say this, you should have to drink. One of the things I love that sets it apart is these little revenue bumps that you get up here if you're in these zones. I think that's very clear on this one. I think it's kind of clear on this one. It's pretty monochromatic, but it works out pretty well. The starting capital charts there. I like the movement, the share movement. I think that that's important. And then I like that there's a reminder of the communist takeover here from phase B3 to C2, that you don't move it. Shares are frozen. So sell, 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 hold, 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 doesn't matter. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. Hey Travis, welcome aboard. Thank you. So let's see, I think that's pretty much it. So the one thing that we have in the other version here, and maybe somebody will make something for us, is one of these charts. Just because, you know, when you have your shares, it's just basically a company where we stack all the charters, because you don't want the player holding on to all the charter or all the individual share certificates for all the individual companies. People like to be able to look at that at a glance, and that's where this is a little handy. Is it always necessary in every game? Absolutely not. But in this one, I've always played with it, and I'm usually one of those people, I will throw that out. I won't ever bother playing with an extra little aid like that. But this game, yeah, I would. Let me see if I have the map in here. Yes, I do. Good, good, good. And that's kind of where we'll end. Yeah, they are really thick on the revenue track. I assume that's what you're talking about. All right, so here's the old map. And honestly, what I did for my neoprene version is I just scanned it and then edited it and cleaned it up and put it in. But that's kind of our old map, which, let's be fair, is a far cry from the yellows and blues of old, right? Like there's attempts here to make something. We texturized the map. We put a border on it that's slightly different. You know, the water actually is a gradient. You know, there's definitely some things done when they did this map that had not been done on many others of the time. So that's already a plus. But I think, oh, I guess my wife's on her way home. We're gonna have to wrap this up. But this map is just, it's very muted. I'm not gonna lie, and you know that may not be to everybody's flavor. But one of the other things I love is that you know, there's the mountains in here, and they're all a little different, right? Like, you know, there's some bigger hills, and then there's some lower hills. You know, she made some conscious decisions over here that look great. And drink. Another cool thing is these double O tiles and some of the singles. You have your choice when you build that, whether you want it to be a town or a city, which I think is pretty cool. So there you go. Pretty much, I think that's it. I think that's a lot of, you know, the differences. Yes, a lot of stuff stays the same functionality-wise. There's no rules changes or anything that I'm aware of that are coming down the pike for this, but everything definitely has a nice coat of paint on it. They took a lot of care with things, and I think they really did a great job. And I love the extra little flourishes because it's not stuff that's changing the game, right? Oh, I just made a mess of all those certificates, so I refuse to show that. You know, it's not like we have any crazy tiles here where we did the Carthaginian thing and, you know, change the colors. You know, yes, it's a different green. It's definitely a russet and a brown here. It's not as red. The yellow is a good yellow, but you know, nothing too crazy. But I think it's well done. All in all, I think it's gorgeous. I think, you know, I think they did a great job, and I'm pretty excited to kind of see how it plays. I don't have a game yet because this literally showed up on Wednesday, and unfortunately my group could not get together this weekend. So, well, our timing didn't line up. So it will hopefully hit the table in a week or two after PAX Unplugged, which is coming up next week. And since I work for PAX, I kind of have to be there. So, all right. So there you have it. That's 1880 China. And not because I'm the person who throws these things at the end of videos and makes you wait or watch the whole thing. It's more I forgot to tell you what to do to enter the contest. So basically, just leave a comment in the section here today. If you're a patron, you're already entered into the drawing. And then just leave a comment and, you know, just tell me something cool. Put in there like, hey, I want an entry in the sweepstakes and why you think 1880 is going to be a game for you or why you already love it. And I'll go through all the comments and I'll see what I can find. And like I said, I will pay for shipping in the continental US. Outside of there, we can potentially work something out. But this is all because I ordered 2 copies, forgetting that I pre-ordered it, and I'm kind of dumb. So my loss is your gain. So go ahead, do that. Thanks for watching. If you guys really crew, I would just go ahead and put another one because live chat doesn't show up in the actual video comments. So just make sure to just go back in and throw a comment. They're different things as far as YouTube's concerned, but hey. But thanks for watching with me. I appreciate it. If you're watching this after the fact, I hope you enjoyed it. You know, I can't I don't really have too many bad things to say. I think Sophia killed it. I know that I will now literally be going on Rails on Board and ordering a set of trays and tokens for this so I can get them. And maybe they'll show up before I play or not. They're really good about shipping, so we'll see. And you know what? I'm going to break down. I'm going to buy a revenue tracker from them because I'm tired of using. I don't even have it within reach right now. I have a really janky ones that I got, and I splurge. Come on. That's what this hobby's all about, right? So that's it. Thank you all very much. It's good to see you. Have a great one. Good to see you, Red-Eyed Ghost, again. Enjoy, and good luck if you want a copy for entering the contest. And when will I draw that? Let's see. Let's draw it, I think, Christmas Eve. And maybe we'll do it live. We'll see. But yeah, look for it Christmas Eve. I'll definitely draw it. If you're waiting for a video from us, life is finally starting to find sort of normalcy, and Tony and I can get back to playing and start talking about games, hopefully very, very soon, because I'm kind of going through a little withdrawal, I'm not going to lie. All right. Y'all be good. Y'all be safe. Have a great rest of your holiday if you're celebrating. And otherwise, as we look forward to the new year and everything else that's coming, thank you for being around, and I'll see you next time.